Hey there guys, it's your good pal Wiggly, and welcome back to more Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All Blind. In the last episode, we finished up the first investigation period, starting to kind of piece together a potential motive, but we really don't have enough pieces to go off of yet. And in this episode, we're heading into the first trial. Always feel super underprepared for the first trial, but this is our 8th rodeo now? I think we'll be fine. Hey Max, it is very weird to see like the bottom half of your sprite. Good morning, Max. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, this isn't stage, this is a courtroom. I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick. Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! What? You don't think I should fly, do you? No. Absolutely don't do that, please. That's an insane thought, just flying into the courtroom when you're a fucking murder suspect. Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I would pay money to see that. It would fit Phoenix so well. I can see it now, the dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that, and everyone in the courtroom will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick, what's with that look in your eye? He's in. Sometimes I forget, because like Phoenix puts on like this facade that he's professional and he's not like a giant nerd, but he totally is, 100%. He tries to hide it, but definitely is. I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. Good God. Oh boy. Hello, Miss Von Karma. Ready to get your ass beat again? And now the case of one... Already? It's been like 2 text boxes. Come on. That caught me completely off guard. This is already fucked. We're already in kangaroo court mode just immediately from the start. Your Honor, get on with it. Oh, sorry. I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob John, so that's what caught your eye. Okay. So... Well, if the defendant also... Isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor. He often does go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we call the defendant Maximilian Galactica. I sure wouldn't. It sounds more friendly. What do you mean? I wonder if that is to our advantage. I have no idea. Miss Von Karma, your opening statement, if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix, right? Well, I won the last one, so... That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. I think this one is much more ridiculous and uncredible than the other one if you had to pick. So... It did not count. Do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. We'll see. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose anything. What about your dad? I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. But it's not like it'll bring her dad back. Oof. Oof, Maya. Damn. There, opening statement complete. Now let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. Very well, you may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up here, now! Up there now. Sorry, my bad. Misread. Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, detective. Shit. Savage court today. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Really? You're looking forward to testifying in court? Okay. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. All right, detective. You may proceed with your testimony. All right, we're in. Let's get it. Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m., okay. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. That's very soon. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. Damn. Yeesh. I see. He was beaten to death. Here is the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. Okay. A blunt object. This is what? Our third... I think it's our third blunt force trauma victim, right? Because there's... The first two were Mia and Miss Cindy Stone. I can't believe I remember her name. They were both blunt force trauma, and then now this guy. I think that's it for blunt force. I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but I was just curious. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. I'm probably forgetting somebody. Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. Okay. What do we got? Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about 1.5 inches was on the ground. Then I wouldn't really call it a blizzard, to be fair. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. Also, California. Yeah. The snow. Let me see. There's got to be more to this. What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record. Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime? I'm gonna guess this is just like a read-it-through testimony. I didn't see anything weird. Also, I should probably refamiliarize myself with the evidence here. We have these two, which I don't think are going to be important. Crime photo. Just him on the box in the snow. We need to find out what was in that box. That'll probably help. The silk hat. The ringmaster's papers about the negotiations 1 week ago. That'll probably come up. I'm sure they'll try to pass that off. Emblazoned with Max's 3 famous symbols. There's what? The hat and the cape. What was the last one? It's the gloves, I think? Maybe? If memory serves. The broken orange juice bottle. The map. Okay. And then Money the Monkey. Why is he in inventory? Or yeah, why is he like in our evidence? That's interesting. I'll have to remember that. Ring, the T to R, and then 10-15 blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Okay. Just getting myself solidified here. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and the staff were there. Regina the Animal Tamer, Mo the Clown, Ben the Ventriloquist, and of course the defendant Maximilian Galactica and his victim, the Ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Rita the Tiger was there as well. What about Mr. Money the Monkey? Out of curiosity, what about the circus? Thank you, Phoenix. Again, we're just in sync immediately. When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after these proceedings. What about Mr. Acro the Acrobat? Was he present? Interesting. I didn't think about that. Okay. So we have a character who we haven't met, we've only heard by name, completely shrouded in mystery. Interesting. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate absorbed in his own world. And the ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary. They weren't, but that's not really important right now. So, actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. Also, if we bring that up, unnecessary drama until we need it. The murder itself took place in the blah 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 10:15 p.m. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ow! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on. Alright, we'll just have to revisit that testimony later, okay? Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box dead as a doornail. What was in the box? A wooden box. That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It was rather strange, wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked, not to mention it was locked. Locked, you say? Okay, 20-pound box. It boasts a small but strong lock. Okay. Good to know. This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. Tell us about the contents. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box? Don't tell me you didn't check it. Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. Good. All that was inside was this little bottle. Really? That's it? Bottle? What is that, detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What, it's a salt shaker? Why? What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Okay. I don't know what to do with that. Alright. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box? There was only one little bottle in that huge box. I wonder if it has some sort of special meaning. Okay. Oh, God, I don't even know where to begin with that. Alright. Is that just proof that whoever it was a circus performer and had breakfast with them in the morning in the cafeteria, maybe? That's the only logical, line I can draw with that right now. The cause of death was a blunt force trauma that snapped his vertebrae in his neck. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that it is something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the events now. Okay. I guess that's all we're going to get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're going to get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness. I'm not even off the stand yet. Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint. I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Poor Gumshoe. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness. I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist, okay? I wonder if Trillo will show up on the stand as well. Probably. Considering how this game likes to be. Yes, probably. Also, I don't think Ben would be able to testify very well on his own. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Triloquist. I am employed as an operatic tenor. Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist. That row must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence. Decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? Okay. Had a good rhythm. Not really. Not. Thanks to me. No, it didn't. It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak. Dressed up like a woman. Trillo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up. Just look at your nose. You would think you'd have to have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly, I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know that your nose is the reason... Wow, I can't read this. You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds. What's going on here? Order, order, I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trillo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony in my court. Ouch! You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. Okay, fine. Just move forward. Move on. What you witness? What'd you see, Trillo? One practice was over. I left the tent with the stooge. I meant clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max heading toward the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Do you know for sure it was him? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene. Are you sure of that? Without a doubt, he had his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. It was the roses, not the gloves, okay. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown. That's right, dress boy. Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime? He's got a point. That's interesting that the judge brought up a possible contradiction. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit. Why's that? Here's absolute proof. A silk hat. This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene, except a disguise to pin it on him. Hello? Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done. Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say? Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. Yeah. Well. What do we got? Okay, once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge, I mean clown. The clown. You're talking about Mo. Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic, I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first-place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack. Then what happened? Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. Why the plaza's entrance? To do some thinking, of course. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker. What, Phoenix? At least my teachers always said I was. Okay. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup? Snobby three-piece getup? Get the wax out of your ears, lawyers nowadays. You're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Jeez, could you be any more dense altogether now? Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you. Oh, God. Nick, I think you should put a little more effort into preparing your questions. I like how the game is punishing me for pressing things. Oh, God. He was the only one heading that way. How could the punk that punk not be the killer? By the way, if they ever start punishing me, like penalizing me at the top right for pressing things, I'm gonna be upset. Let's see. You saw Max and only Max, right, Trillo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person headed that way that night. that makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one suspicious character. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? Only saw Max? Didn't Mo say that he, like, saw the crime? And also not the ringmaster, actually, now that I think about it. That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose the witness could have seen? It's the ringmaster. That's the victim. That's correct. If Trillo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Ah! Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? If the ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? Ah, I see. It seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt the witness's testimony. That's a fair point, so. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions. He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trillo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? He definitely does, 100%. Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick? Wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. He sure was. Once practice was over, I left the tent with that clown. Lodging house, I ditched him, went to the back of the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max heading toward the scene of the crime. How could that punk not be the killer? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been around... Hey, what time was it? Huh? I think it was around, I'd say a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. That's fast police response time, because it happened at 10:15. Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is... Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Interesting. Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something. Mr. Wright. Who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night? Regina. Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Wow! Okay, bye, Shrillo. See ya. Oh, God. You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question. Who cares? I was waiting. Who cares who I was waiting for out that night? Oh my God. What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it. Well, well, well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right. Eh? All right. There's obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Fair enough. Ah! The exploding thing is funny to me. That makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you might accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading into the scene. Ow! There's absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I I guess you got me. I have proof. All right, I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true, I was waiting for Regina. Pain! Don't volunteer things. Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance of the lodging house? I was. I was waiting to propose to her. You were what? Waiting to propose? What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage? The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case. You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain! Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet. Okay, what do we got? Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give to her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. You don't. You were going to propose. You. A puppet. He just can't move past it. Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love. I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too. It absolutely does mean that, Judge. Hello? Oh, God. Exactly. His honor is looking a little less than honorable right now, I'll say. Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination. What was with that sigh at the end? This is weird. About the proposal. Okay. Well, I already know what I'm supposed to do. I think I'm just going to take my chance, and if I get penalized, I get penalized. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. You liar, I have it right here. This evidence clearly reveals yep. Okay. My own dumb fault. Okay. I think it's about the time to unwrap this toy's testimony. That's the spirit. Neck, give him neck. The judge has that dazed and confused look. Maybe he should get out more. Okay, let's start pressing. I tried to skip forward a little bit. Always a bad plan. By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct? To Regina? Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I wasn't going to propose that we'd become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben? Yeah. Got it? That's the truth. I even had something to give to her. What was it exactly that you planned on giving her? You know exactly what I was going to give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer his question. What was it? You're gonna die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring. Engagement ring? Oh, that was... Sorry. I thought it was Von Karma, but then I realized it was the judge. Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad. Push on anyway. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to a human being. Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short. I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring. I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology. You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. Okay. I plan on giving an engagement ring to Regina. An engagement ring? Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. It's even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's going to love it. It's just a ring. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's got to be something I can catch him on. Going to give an engagement ring to Regina. From T to R is engraved on it. Is it this ring? Do I have to present this now? No. God damn it. I'm off my ball. Damn it. Usually when they add a new testimony thing, it is usually the thing that I have to do something on, but let me just continue pressing. Whose pocket was the ring in? Mine, of course. What a stupid question. You've got to be kidding me. You think Ben could pull that off? I'm so sorry, really. You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing. Really? Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. So you went to the lodging house to give it to her. That's right. I tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but the uppity snob kept getting in the way. Uppity snob? He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximilian Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his wood block in half, and not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries. So what about this present? In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket. You don't. So you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Of course I am. I spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not going to give it up that easily. I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. Give him Nick, the judge. Oh boy. Okay. I don't... Giving an engagement ring. I don't have anything else other than that money stole it. Oh God, what do I do? Now that we've clarified that it was an engagement ring, will it work? Maybe? Really? Okay. That was like the only line of thinking I had. Other than maybe presenting money, but I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of messy. I don't like that. Trillo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it? What are you talking about? Uh-oh, looks like they're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring? Ah, that's mine. Give it back, thief, thief. Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here? Why couldn't I have just presented it before anyway? Ah! What is going on here? That's... Ben, say something. Don't put me on the spot like that, Trillo. I found this in Money's room. Money's room? You mean a room they put money in, like a bank vault? Ha! That's a filthy that filthy monkey is gonna get what's coming to him. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my court. Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word. Ah, I see. Well then. Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up. Shiny things? Trillo, when was this ring stolen from you? Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night, the night of the crime. What did you just say? Details. I need more details. Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza. Okay. Well, right about when you saw the defendant walked past, correct? Then you definitely didn't really actually realize that it was him. Well, I guess you, might, be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Ooh! Ah, yo, okay. Yes. Stolen by the monkey. Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trillo, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trillo Quist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trillo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring-snatching monkey, Money. But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you? It's all this slow, loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away. That is indeed an incredible shame. Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? Ben doesn't exercise enough. There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance of the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza in the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene. True. Interesting, Mr. Wright. Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He's blinded by his rivalry with Max. Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant. What? How dare you? I wouldn't just lie to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar. Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw on that night. Ha, I've told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing. You've already changed your story, stick boy, and I'm sure it'll change some more. Where there is one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why I have to keep after him. Yeah. Okay. What next, Trillo? What do you got? I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. That doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. Okay. So that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max? That's right, Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him? How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting? Well, let's see, I'd say about, I suppose 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Okay. Let's dig deeper before presenting anything. Give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up. You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. Counting Ben, of course. With that many eyes, do you really think something would have slipped by me? 4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose. Only 2 of them work, but okay. Yikes, the judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trillo. That doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night. Of course that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time. I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. Okay. About what time would you say these events took place? You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. You already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it? Indeed, what time was it? What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I'm no good at math. It was 10:10 p.m. Oh, yes, that sounds about right. Even the judge Sounds about right because that's the time that I saw Max on the scene. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning and good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You got something to add? Let me guess, that's not it, Trillo. You say good evening at night. Oh, I'm sorry, Trillo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom. Impossible. A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. I'm getting very annoyed with this character, I'll be honest. There's got to be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Ben's half of the comedy act? True. Nothing especially. Trillo's evening greeting. It's got to be that, but I don't know what specifically. Isn't that a bit strange to you? What do you mean? Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? That's a fair point, actually. I didn't consider that. It strikes me as somewhat strange. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your coworkers? Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a coworker, I would understand. Ow, that hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. There's no reason that Trillo would ever say something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with the evidence? I know exactly how, actually. Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. Yeah, by now, yes. I guess I can give it a shot. The witness will resume his testimony. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactic at the scene. Didn't even acknowledge my presence. Why would you say good evening if he hit you over the head with a bottle? Yes, okay. Music stopped, we're good. Trillo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal, it was just an argument, a disagreement at most. A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head. Ah! That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? Is that an admission of assault and battery? Ouch! Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on stand. There is no way a puppet this lewd would just show up and say good evening to his arrival. True. Gwa! Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene? Yes. I didn't tell a single lie. Honestly, I just... That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night? I'm going to guess that he didn't see anybody, probably. Or maybe he did see the defendant walk over there. Do I have proof, though? Oh, God. Okay. He went over there. Let's try defendant. Of course he saw the defendant. How could he mix? Oh god, okay, yep. This is the wrong one. Trillo would have no reason to greet Max that they had met that night. You said that, did you not, Mr. Phoenix Wright? It's not the correct answer, Mr. Wright. Yep, penalty. Okay. Think about things a bit more and give it another shot. Testimony for the court. I don't think he saw anybody. Of course, the witness did not see a soul that night. I see. Who do you think you are just up and decide who I saw that night? A fool can only understand a foolish foolery uttered by the most foolish of fools. I'm having a lot of trouble reading today. I apologize. The witness didn't see anyone. You wouldn't happen to have proof to back up that statement, would you? I don't. Fuck me, really? Who else did he see wearing Max's clothes, though? Didn't really see anyone that night. They wouldn't have testified that they greeted someone that night, would they? Yeah, that thought crossed my mind, but... They're in the middle of a huge fight. I think I was more in... Okay. Jesus, okay. He saw somebody else, but I don't really have any proof of that either. It's my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trillo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Okay, but why was he wearing Max's clothes? I don't have proof of that. I have equal amount of proof of that as I do that he didn't see anybody. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? You? Will the defense kindly explain who it was that Trillo saw that evening then? I have no idea. I don't know. Was it Mo heading over there? No, because Mo was... Was it the Ringmaster? Maybe? Consider the ill temper of the witness. There's only one person he would greet. It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute. No, Your Honor, it's not Regina. If it was Regina, Trillo would have given her the engagement ring as a present. True. Oh, yeah. I suppose you got a point there. It was Russell Berry. Thank God. Okay, I thought for sure I chose wrong. The victim himself, was it not? The logic in this case is kind of weird. I don't know, like... I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the logic here in court hasn't been as solid thus far. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trillo. Isn't that correct? Answer the question, Mr. Quist. Wah! Ah! Okay. Order! How do you respond to this? Well, wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica. You can't just... I think it's high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica, or was it the ringmaster one Mr. Russell Berry? The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols. Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man, you gotta remember them by now. Here we go again, everyone, all together now. Ow! Yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and cloak. Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. Probably not. What? Miss Von Karma. Do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant? Well, If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point, and you should also penalize her for making a mistake, judge, and not having evidence. Sorry, I'm a bit salty. Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, Wright. What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but... Who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question and evidence that clearly establishes one thing, that there is no one other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime. Okay. Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess. Ugh, okay. That didn't go great. Mostly my fault, but I don't feel like it was entirely my fault. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All Blind. I've been Guildmaster Wiggly. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you are new, consider subscribing. If you want to follow my Twitch, Twitter, or join my Discord, they're in the description. And I hope to see you all in the next one when we take on part 2 of the trial.